Hi, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Harald.
We're from Imminence and we're on tour with Tauri.
I am outside of Terminal West in Atlanta, Georgia on the tour bus of the wonderful band Imminence. We have Eddie and Harald joining us today. How are you guys?
Hey, thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. We're doing great.
Yeah, doing really well.
Awesome. It's so nice to finally meet you guys. I've been such a fan for quite a long time, and whenever I check you guys out, I just fall more and more in love with your sound. And of course, we're on a sold-out day of the tour today.
Yeah.
Black Tour. You're just about over halfway through this tour. How has it been for you guys?
It's been an incredible tour. Like we've been saying throughout the tour, that it's probably been our favorite so far.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree. It's not just being the first time we're doing a full U.S. headliner. I mean, we did a little testing the water thing.
Right.
Late 23, which was just 7 cities, 8 shows, I think, in Northeast Coast. So there's nothing comparable to this. I mean, this is a new thing for us, touring in new cities and doing, a lot of firsts. Everything is just first for us on this run here. And the response and feedback on the new songs, playing them live here for the first time is just, absolutely incredible, I would say.
You guys also did your first ever U.S. festival, Welcome to Rockville. How was that for you?
It was incredible too.
Amazing.
Like it was a really well put together festival, and we had an awesome show.
Yeah, the tricky thing with festivals is that you never really know like what you can expect. I mean, some ones or some of them you can maybe come back to remember, it's going to be good for us, or if it's a territory like a market that you played a lot in, but we've never been to Florida, so we never did a U.S. festival. But we felt that the support was great.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a lot of people in front of the stage. I mean, obviously huge festival, but a lot of sing-alongs and everything, which is quite incredible, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's got to be surreal just seeing all those faces and seeing them singing your lyrics back to you and knowing, because the album's only been out just over a month now.
Yeah.
I think, what is it, 12th?
I think so, yeah.
So today is a month, right?
And that's something that always amazes me too about fans is how even if you tour literally a couple of days after your album comes out, there's people that will know the full song from beginning to end, and it's got to be, as I said, surreal just to see that and see them singing back to you.
Yeah, I mean it is absolutely surreal and really wonderful, I think.
So you guys decided to go independent. What was your reasoning behind that?
I mean, we had been with Rising Empire for a while, for 3 albums, and we felt that it was necessary to make a change, and we've been always doing things in the DIY style ever since the beginning, even if we had partners we were working with. So we just wanted to take it into our control and see, can we do this on our own?
Yeah, I think through the years that we have been a band, we had to learn to develop the skills necessary for controlling pretty much everything, all the aspects of the band, really, whether it being for marketing or merch or live or production or whatever it is. We've always really been heavily involved in every single aspect of the band, and therefore we kind of felt that we believe we can do this thing on our own, really. We're kind of modern band, and so we decided to go for that and face the challenge. And I think that it affected the way this album played out also, like how we released the singles and how we wrote new music as we were releasing singles. So we kind of were breaking our own format a little bit, and I really think it's one of the best choices we ever made so far.
Yeah, I think so too. I definitely hear there's like a little bit of evolution, of course, with every single album, but I feel like with this one and you not being stuck, if you will, with a label and like whatever rules they may have for you, whatever contractual things they may have for you, I feel like the Black is just purely Imminence, and it's purely you guys, and I can feel your heart and your soul in every single song that is on that album. And speaking of the album, I was wondering, of course, if you guys could describe it in your own words, like what it's about, what it means to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I felt a little bit like lyric-wise that it's been a trajectory from Turn the Light On into Having a High Day, and then kind of continuing on that path. But lyrically, I wanted to take it to more of an extreme and like really dive deep into what this darkness is all about. And I think that it matches very well with the instrumentals of what we're doing on the album and trying to evoke that kind of emotion.
Yeah, I think what the album is doing is kind of highlighting the polar opposites of what our sound is. I think, with this very extreme and heavy and darkness being in direct contrast to maybe the more serene and beautiful side of our music, I think we are showcasing what we can do in this whole kind of soundscape, and we end up somewhere here in the middle. And I think this is maybe the most conceptual album that we have ever written, not with the intention of like, now we're going to write a concept album. I think it's just kind of turned out that way, and that probably started even from the beginning with the first song we wrote, which was Come Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
And we felt that the two first songs we wrote, Come Hell or High Water and Desolation, was strong enough to be put out as singles. Yeah. Even though we just had those two songs, we knew that there will be an album coming at some point, but we kind of wanted to start telling the story already from the beginning here. So I think already in the early stages we figured out what the artwork should be like, for example, and how the all the visuals how they should turn out. So I think we kind of just let the music lead us into whatever the album became.
It's kind of like discovering what the black is all about through the writing process.
Right, and I definitely feel that it's very fluid, and I feel like the way you've laid out the songs on the album as well, it from start to finish. And you mentioned the instrumentals. You've got 3 on the album. How come you decided to go with 3 and just
we never
in general for instrumentals?
We just go with what feels right, and for me it was saying something else when you remove the vocals, because when you're exploring this darkness, this heavy topic, like sometimes you have nothing to say and you feel like you're just drifting out somewhere, and I feel like those instrumentals are a good representation of that.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. They're really not intermission tracks in this way, just because we don't happen to have any vocals on them. So I think they're just really completing the full image and the feeling of what the album should be, and it just gives you another dimension of the black, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to go about it, because as you say, sometimes words just aren't enough. Sometimes you do need that silence or just that serene feeling, which the violin sort of gives. It's like that lightness in the dark, if you will. And speaking of that, how come you guys decided to incorporate the violin in such a huge way? It's practically one of the a lead instrument at this point.
Yeah, I mean, when we started, I've been playing violin since I was 5, but we started using it on our first album, on the I album, but I never really thought of myself like a solo violinist, just more that I could play. So we used that more as a backdrop of a string arrangement for that album, and then we kind of faded out to for the next record. But when we started working on Turn the Light On, Infectious, I think, was the first song we wrote, and it was just like, it just popped up as an idea, like the melody for the violin, tried it out and thought, this is actually really, really cool, and we've kind of been exploring it ever since. And for this album, I really wanted to take it even further than we've ever done before, and thinking more in like cinematic scoring in the songs.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I love when, you guys do it very successfully. You mix, of course, the extreme heaviness with that more serene, beautiful sound of like movie scores, if you will, with the violin, and it's really beautiful to listen to. And also, Eddie, your vocals, the emotion you can put in, is like next level for me.
Thank
Just
you.
your voice is beautiful. What do you hope listeners will take away from listening to the album, or to just you guys in general, your discography, everything that you brought out so far?
I mean, my hope is that it can give people a strength or a solace. You know, we have a lot of people coming up to us and telling us how much our music means to them and how it helped them through very hard times, and that's more than you could ever ask for, I think.
Yeah, I believe that if people can listen to our music and recognize themselves, like find a recognition in what we are talking about, and turning that into something that is positive, especially on this tour when we've been fortunate enough to have people coming up and telling their story to us here. It's been remarkable to hear how people are associating our music and finding our music in good times and in bad times. You know, we have people who got married at our concerts, and we have people, well, that have an association with, well, much darker times. It can be when love starts, when love ends, when life starts, when life ends, or whatever. And as long as people find some sort of comfort or recognition in our music, then that's anything we can ask for, of course.
I completely agree with that statement. Music should be about the feeling and the good and the bad, because life is not all rainbows and kittens. You know, it's hard and it's challenging at times. So what song do you think is like the most challenging for you guys to play live on stage?
I guess that's pretty personally, since that we play different instruments, of course. From the new record, I feel like Desolation is a bit challenging vocally, because there is so much vocals in that song.
Yes, there is.
On this one, I think, well, now we have played a couple of shows here, so I wouldn't maybe say that anyone feels like intimidating or so, but you sometimes, when you are like exposing yourself a little bit more, when you're taking away like the full band, like we have this element where we sometimes do acoustic stuff, or sometimes I play piano with only Eddie, and sometimes it's just me playing clean guitar or something. Right. That can be a little bit, you know, it can challenging in this way, even though if it's not difficult or so, but there's nothing kind of,
there's
you know,
security.
There's no security.
You know? Yeah.
It's just you, and they will all hear you if something goes wrong.
So, have you had any like memorable moments? Of course, you talked about fan interactions with people coming up and just thanking you, but have you had any like funny moments or moments that stick out on this tour?
I mean,
there's been so many that it's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's just things are just happening all the time here. Maybe also because we're experienced and seeing something new every day.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it can be anything from, as we just explained, people who were proposing and getting married at one of our concerts or so, or just this morning finding a couple of fans that had literally been camping outside for the show here. You know.
We drove by at about 11ish just to see the layout of the venue, and there was people already there, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it puts it into perspective what this tour means to us over here, because like you said, I know you did like a Test the Water tour last year, and I was so bummed out because I couldn't make it. You guys weren't coming anywhere near me, but then when you were coming here and there was 2 dates that I could choose from, I was like, finally I get to see, like, because you guys are one of my personal favorite bands, that I get to see you guys live up on that stage and just doing your thing. So
yeah. It's been a lot of those moments that have been very special, you know, and every night we're doing a meet and greet, and we get to talk to fans that are you know, willing to share their story with us and tell them how they found the band, and just saying that they listened to us since the very first album 10 years ago, and so it's those moments happen all the time here.
So how do you guys, because obviously touring is extremely emotionally draining as well as physically draining, how do you guys avoid burnout?
Well, you know, we have a great team. We have a fantastic team that is taking care of that's running the show, so to say. You know, I mean, we couldn't do this without them, and that can be anything from, you know, not just front of house, like taking care of the audio, also on stage and with the lights and everything, but the entire team is making this level possible for us, so we can focus on what we need to do, which is being on stage and performing. And yeah,
it's always nice to surround yourself with a fantastic crew that just you can rely on them to like do their job, and then you guys can relax and do your job when it comes to the stage. And
well, not only that, as you mentioned before, we are independent, so every day is really it's maintaining everything else surrounding the band and the band's activities, being it our web shop, for example, or being it our social medias, or planning tour managing for the summer or next year or next tour, and also maybe touching on new material and new music, and just always kind of keeping everything going is what we need to do when we're out. So having a fantastic crew that is making that possible for us is, you know, it's vital.
Well, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. What are your rest of year plans for this year and maybe going into, because we are, I can't believe it, we're already in May and almost summer. It's gone so fast.
We're going back home to Europe, and we're doing some festival shows over there. And then we have the Black Tour in Europe in the fall.
Awesome.
That's it. There has recently been some new things confirmed for the end of the year that we're hoping to share really soon as well. So there's plenty in the making right now.
Well, I think my brother might probably come to. If you guys, are you guys playing Manchester when you go?
Yeah.
So he may turn out.
Yeah, that's nice.
Do you guys have any last words for fans watching this interview? Just thanks or anything like that?
Yeah, of course. We have to thank you, and have to thank all our fans for watching this clip and to listening to our new album, and possibly even coming out to the shows we're doing. You know, this is not possible without you. So
absolutely, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for taking the time out. I know you're super busy, and guys, of course, if you do come out to shows, make sure that you go ahead and buy merch and whatever else the guys have for sale. As you heard, they are independent, and every little helps. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.